February 25, 2023. At Kelly Brough. They text me, tried to play some game with me. I told her that Kelly sucked, and they said through a straw. Oh man, such immature little red pig. Little pig with red lips. She's red pig though. So when you look at her content, okay, she bloviates, she talks everybody's stuff, and she's the only one that led Denver to a $100 million deficit under Hickenlooper. She's the only one that bloviates on her LinkedIn. Her experience as mayoral candidate. Kelly Brough for Denver mayor, experienced mayoral candidate. She suck on anything, man. Chief strategy officer, CFO. Where? That 7 months you did it at Metropolitan State University that's going to take a big hit when this is all over. Y'all don't even have a fucking clue because you're so digitally blind and you're so all about boasting your humble bragging bullshit. It's about to catch up to all of you. You heard me? I do this for Denver, man, because, the good news is nobody really gets hurt. Just socially, it's going to hurt a lot of people financially. And the good news, they can change. And what happened is when I sued the government, I had an opportunity. Get on the ballot, go ahead and do 1,000 and wait and wait and wait and wait. And you look at all the different times of how long it took them to finalize certain candidates and why certain ones got to 3 or 4 days. Unbelievable. But see, there's no check and balances because you got the same people working on the same committees while giving the hoodwink and rubbing each other's doo-doo asses. And then they try to rub it on our faces. Not me, man. I can smell it before it even comes my way. Especially in Tafoya. And what's happening to these people have reached the ultimate peak of their bullshit. And when I took them to court, when I took Paul Lopez to court, I could have either just, do I want to be mayor? Do I really want these next 4 years that are going to be so dark for Denver, along with the rest of the world and what's coming for, I don't know what it's called. I mean, it's going to be a really scary situation, especially for our young kids, because they've all been taught there's really no value to life, and that's why a majority of them talk about suicide and that stuff there. So, when you understand how all this stuff works, you'll be able to put together a perspective of what it is we're trying to achieve in our city that makes us better than anybody else in the world. And you don't get that by bloviating bullshit and taking people's content like Kelly and all of them. Lisa Calderon had her own poll and at Emerge Colorado, another 5013C that she collects money on, and they all won, but they didn't. See, when we were in court, which is the highest place you can have something indexed, is inside a courtroom. And if you know how to activate your Bluetooth and how Bluetooth scans automatically, it's nothing that you do. You can actually do it, but once you're in the courtroom, you can't do it. It's done. It's going to do it by itself. All you have to do is turn it on. And most of these people's Bluetooth are always on. Their Bluetooth are always on. And so what we do is we pattern match the voices that are talking, and the ones that aren't talking, our voices are being picked up on their devices. And that's how that kind of works. So, I hear Tom Petty in the background. It's so sad. He's dead, and Michael Jackson, and all these Prince, and all of them. And they're the lucky ones. Believe me, folks. It ain't about life. It's about death. Most people haven't figured that out. I have. I figured that out when I was little. I knew. But when you take a look at what the city attorney did on court, January excuse me again, February 6th. I filed in January, but we had a emergency meeting on February 6th, and it was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, lasted about 20 minutes, and I just needed the magical words that I haven't heard from anybody in these last 12 years, that the Spirit Amendment even existed and just wasn't a figment of my imagination or the law that had somehow been magically erased from our quatrains. And so when you understand that I didn't really want to be mayor, I needed to be mayor, but I didn't really want to be mayor, because I knew the people that no matter, I would have sat out there in 9 degrees and had everybody do the same fucking shit, and then I wouldn't have gone on the ballot anyways, and then I would have lost precious time that it took me to write the motions that I wrote to file with the courts. I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I took a emergency pull on the emergency suit chute to slow me down. And yeah, I get excited when I talk. I don't say the rightest things, but you know what? I know things you all don't know. And that's what makes me special. Special in the eyes of the Lord, special in the eyes of my friends and the people I rescue every day. When they're locked out of their house or their home, I'm the one that comes and rescues them. Yes, I get paid. And I don't help everybody. And there's ones that take advantage and will even rip off a person that came to rescue them. Can you believe it? Someone that would actually try to rip off a guy that, or a person or a company, that they're stranded, they got nowhere to go, I'm scared, and then they're the ones beaten down. Oh, well, I ain't gonna pay that. Well, what are you, man? There's people like that, folks. I meet them every day, every fucking day. And I learn how now to ask the questions so that I don't get set up. And you gotta know. Gotta know who you're calling. You gotta know everything. Who's calling who. And see, with voice indexing, I was able to now prove in a court of law the highest location to be in regards to location authority. Then you have the cell phone tower pings, and the most beautiful thing now is our voice latent prints that we speak. That is now our personal identifiers, like our fingerprints, that follow us everywhere we go. And so when city attorney, which is now the highest person above even city council, because they're lawyers and they represent the city in all their legal matters, they told the court when I brought up the Spear Amendment that they haven't followed that law in years. I believe, based off artificial intelligence, that woman had just either moved here recently and someone told her decades, and so she's just going to say years, because if she said decades, then that would have, which we know has been at least 10 years, they haven't enforced it, but it's been since 1963, folks. And this is what I needed, was for her to tell a judge, and for the judge, a sitting district judge, Andrew Luxon, concurred with her breaking the law. Then I filed certain other complaints to see where they would go, and so that our judiciary system can't bullshit its citizens anymore. And these are the analytics that a court would use to make them better in a society, to where if they're going to operate on the internet and send emails and that kind of thing, they got to realize that they have to follow under the same rules as everybody else. There's no specialty on the World Wide Web just because a person's a judge or an attorney. They have power, believe me, ultimate power, if it's used right, if they do the right thing. But if they use it and abuse it for money and everything, and their pro bono work doesn't match up to their rhetoric of oh, I do pro bono. When was the last case you ever did? What did you do? How did you do it? See, it's gonna happen fast, folks. This way, everybody who has these lawyers that'll diddle, oh yeah, man, we're gonna $200, retainer. I'll never ever pay another attorney any money to consult with them ever, and you shouldn't either. Those are the guys you need to take off running because they know you're not going to be able to afford them anyways, and they know they're probably not going to take your case, so they might as well just fuck you now and get $200 or get their 15 minutes for $200. Tell those lawyers to go. You know what I mean? You got to think. You got to use your head, folks. And see, Kelly hasn't used her head. She's used everybody else's head. That's why she's the pig with red lips, bombing off everybody else. All the same. But look at Kelly is the president and CEO of Denver Metro Chamber. No, she's not. This is all outdated because she's outdated. This is how these people operate. And now, now that gumbo is going to be feeling it. If she gets elected, it'll be the worst thing Denver ever fucking did. And all those people that got whimsical by the outdated Hagatha with red lips and all her supporters, or all of them, every single fucking candidate, because they don't know. Their IT people don't know. And when they do know, they're already going to be in office, and then citizens are going to be really fucking pissed off. How do I know? Because that's what I do for a living, candidates.